Oops. You know what? I did not change my Twitch channel's title. Whoops. Maybe it automatically did for me. Hope it did.
It says the right one on the stream, so it looks good.
Okay, good. All right. Sweet. Okay. Get back to the notes. All right, perfect. We are all set and live. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to episode 59 of the TCCG Roundtable. We're your hosts, dragonrider. No RonMexico, but DankestDad. How's it going?
It's going great. I am no longer lost in the woods on my vacation. I am back and ready to talk some card games.
Yay. I am ready. It's good to have you back. And of course, as you get back from vacation, Ron goes on his vacation. So, last week it was Ron and I, and this week it's you and I. That's okay. That's why we originally wanted to have 3 people, is that times like this we could still have a show.
I mean, hey, card games are all about rotation, right? So we are rotating
That's
ourselves.
True.
Round and round.
True. Around the round table. All right. Well, you have anything that's going on that you wanted to talk about in terms of whether it's just like game wise or personal wise?
I mean, life is pretty good right now. I mean, I've had a long week of work, but the other stuff's going good. I am basically addicted to Poke Rogue, which is not a card game, but very fun. Would try it. And otherwise, I've just been managing to hang in there, keeping up with the card stuff, and pivoting back from lots of family time and celebrations to sort of my more usual balance.
Nice. Yeah, you were gone for quite a good chunk of last month, it seemed like. So,
yeah.
Lots going on.
Yes, tournaments and travel and vacation, and now just chilling in Ohio. I am not leaving the state for 3.5 months, and that's not something that happens to me very often. So we'll make the most of it.
Yeah, there you go. I have just been busy. Feels like it's just busy out working, trying to make money. Money because I need that for everything. It feels like. So that's been busy. Trying to do a little bit more streaming again and start up my videos again. So that's been good. Just been trying to play the Hearthstone expansion, and then which came out last week. So it's been like a week and a half now since that launched. But now, since it's the week after, the THL season for the Hearthstone like Community League has kicked off. So kind of playing my matches and getting back in the swing of things for that myself. And I'm just gonna like plug and say now, because I feel like we kind of just throw it in at the end of the show. That Amberflight Gaming, our esports team, for August, we are doing August Animal Month. So this whole like throughout the month, we're doing just a like volunteering, donating. Hey, there's a kitty. Love it. And what's that one's name?
This is Yoshi and Yoshi's spot, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yoshi is the oldest of our 4 cats. So my door is downstairs, and we're painting some doors here too. So yeah, you might see lots more cats today than during a typical show.
Well, good. Yes. So yeah, I think between all of the members on AFG, we have quite a few animals. Or even like family animals. So there's quite a few. So yeah, we definitely love animals, and yeah, we're gonna be doing some like different volunteer work, donating that kind of stuff, and just encouraging the community to also do that kind of thing. I know myself, I've got like some treat making stuff planned and some other things donating. I'm gonna try to volunteer at least once because I haven't done that before. Actually, I haven't volunteered. I've donated to the shelters, but I haven't volunteered any time or anything. So, gonna actually try to do that. And then we have something else still coming related to bingo that we'll be announcing more. So, yeah, it's gonna be an exciting month, I think. But yeah, it's a cool thing that we're doing. Um, yeah, I think that is kind of the what's been going on for us and in our realm, I guess. That's not really just specifically card games. But there is some big stuff happening in the card game world. I would say because like one big thing is that Gen Con is happening. That's happening right now. It started yesterday, actually, right? So
Yes.
uh, it's a 4-day huge convention. A lot of card games go to Gen Con and get involved in that. And yesterday, the first day of the convention, was also the Fantasy Flights in-game or in-flight report, I think is what they called it, in-flight report, which was basically their panel showcasing and talking about stuff that's coming up. So we're going to be talking about that more in depth for our main topic. But what other news things do we have going on?
So of course, cannot help but pay respects to the granddaddy of them all. It's release week for Magic, so Bloomborough is upon us. So you like Magic the Gathering or cute animals and or reading Brian Jacques fiction, if you are a Redwall enjoyer like me, then Bloomborough is going to be up your alley. So give that a try if you haven't already gone to pre-release. Then uh, we have for, of course, Star Wars Unlimited, tons and tons of news, but we're going to break all of that down separately, like Dawn said. And for universes, Attack on Titan pre-release is upon us next weekend. That will be here soon. The full set has been spoiled, and well, if you guys have been listening regularly, you know that I have been enjoying and playing a lot of universes. The new set is going to be more than a tad more expensive to collect and to play. So, if you really love Attack on Titan and want to give it a shot, it is a passion project. The game looks great, the cards are beautiful, but just be warned it might cost you a bit more than what you're used to if it's a game that you were thinking about giving a try.
Yeah. And I feel like this is uh, a somewhat big month as well for releases. I don't know if we can really count Hearthstone's expansion because it just came out, but does normally come out in August. They're just kind of shifting it slightly earlier, but we also have a Disney Lorcana set coming out this month later in August, and like you said, the Bloomborough for Magic, and then there's the Universes sets. This is
Yeah.
release time. We're kind of in that phase.
Yeah, and even if it's not a release, I'm sure we'll be getting some sort of news from Pokemon Worlds in a couple weeks. So lots
Yeah.
and lots.
Yeah, and that'll bring us to our couple of things that we have for the competitive and organized play, which is the same weekend. Both the Hearthstone Masters Tour and the Pokemon World Championships are going to be happening. So that is August 16th through 18th. That Pokemon World Championships being held in Hawaii, and that Hearthstone Masters tour will be online. But that's going to be a huge weekend. I know we're going to be planning some stuff for like watch parties and that kind of stuff, and just this is going to be a fun weekend for competition. And for AFG, we have two competitors competing at the Pokemon World Championships for VGC. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, Elton Lexicon gonna have to. One of them's gonna have to beat the other one in grand finals. It's just inevitable. So,
okay, if it's an AFG versus AFG grand finals, I will absolutely lose it. I will lose my shit. That would be amazing. No pressure, guys. No pressure. Oh. Yeah. So that's what is that? 2 weeks from this weekend? Yeah, 2 weeks.
yep.
2 weeks from today is when all that starts. So it's going to be getting very close, and so I'm not sure if we will have a show 2 weeks from today or not. Maybe we'll do it earlier or something. We'll see. But that's going to bring us to our main topic, which is I kind of dubbed it as Star Wars Unlimited's future. But as I mentioned, this was all kind of stuff that they had announced and revealed and talked about, and started kind of announcing and releasing more information on after yesterday for their in-flight report, which was their Fantasy Flight Games panel, which they had a lot of stuff about Star Wars Unlimited. So do you want to talk about the first thing from Tyler Parrott?
Sure. So, Fantasy Flight's designers Tyler Parrott showed off all of the upcoming sets for the remainder of this year and for 2025. So, the next 4 sets all have been revealed in name. So, Twilight of the Republic will be coming to us in November. So, that will cover the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith sort of era of Star Wars, one of my favorites. So, I'm really excited for that. In March of 2025, we'll get Jump to Light Speed. So hopefully we'll be going to outer space, and my store is rooting for space leaders instead of just ground-based ones. So maybe keep your eye out. In July, we get Legends of the Force. So might be looking back at some of the great Jedi, maybe a little bit of the lore shown off from the novels and in Clone Wars. We'll just have to see. And then last in November 2025, we have Secrets of Power, which I feel like might be sort of leaning the other way in terms of light versus dark side. But I don't know. I am over the moon for this as a Star Wars fan. And, while I'm going to be keeping my eye out for pod racers, every time they announce anything, I am really, really excited to see which characters they bring to life in these sets.
Yeah, there's been some really cool characters. So, and I think we knew right initially, like even before the game released initially, that they were kind of working all the way through set 9. So none of this is a surprise. Like, oh, there's going to be 3 more sets next year. Like, that's not a surprise, right? But we didn't know what they were going to be called. And I think we could, at least from this year, kind of gather the like release schedule in terms of like when they were coming out. So, the March, July, November isn't really a surprise, but kind of what each set is and what they're called kind of is the surprise. And it's cool to know these ahead of time. And I know Magic has been kind of doing this very similar. Like they've kind of been revealing for like the next year and a half kind of out all their like sets and what's coming. So this kind of gets people hyped and gets people excited. As someone who, maybe maybe to the dismay of many, I do like the newer movies. So Twilight of the Republic, I'm pretty excited for. I've watched like most of. I'm a little behind, but most of like I would say the mainstream, most known like Star Wars stuff. But I actually did enjoy the newer movies. So yeah, I'm kind of excited for this one.
Oh no, Dawn, the prequels aren't newer anymore. We're old, remember?
I know. But people still call them the newer ones. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I am just old. That's all right. We already decided. I've embraced my old lady era. It's fine. Uh, yeah. Um, but you know what they also did, in addition to talking about the what's coming, is they actually started diving in to the Twilight of Republic set. So, do you want to talk about the keywords and what's coming?
Sure. So with Twilight of the Republic, we're gonna see, like I said, sort of that focus on the sort of Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith era. And right here, we've got Ahsoka Tano as one of our new leaders, showing off the coordinate keyword. So coordinate basically lets you use those abilities when you control 3 or more units. So if you have 3 guys, you can coordinate. So Ahsoka has this ability here that she can give her unit stats and make an attack when she uses her action, but she can't do it unless you have a board. So, with coordinate, we're going to need to find some ways to get our boards a little more full than they've been in this set. And gee, I wonder if we will see something like that later in this article, because I know we will. There's more.
Yes. The cool thing though about a leader like this that has the coordinate is that when you deploy her, she herself then becomes a unit, so she counts towards that coordinate keyword.
Exactly.
So it means that you don't have to have as many units already on the board. So it talks about kind of, having like potential for surprise, for surprising your opponent, which if your opponent is paying attention and thinks through the fact that you can deploy your leader and that would put you at 3 units, then they're not going to be surprised. But, the idea is there, right? That you could have like 2 units and then deploy Ahsoka and be able to have 3 then on the board because they are leader units. So that is pretty cool. I'm curious if we're gonna see another leader that uses coordinate as well.
Oh, I'm sure we will. It seems like there probably will be more. We aren't seeing too many leaders in this preview. I think we have just one more to show off with
Yeah.
If you scroll a little bit down, we've got General Grievous as well sneaking in here. Yep. So Grievous has some droid synergy. So you can give a droid sentinel with him, and then when he comes into play, he is large, and he continues to give droid sentinel, which is interesting. He's not even half droid or a little droid himself, even though he is arguably more machine than sentient being at this point. But that's all right. Grievous is still pretty good. But notably, though, on both the light and dark side, for heroism and villainy, we get these token characters. So if you are in heroism, you're going to be making clone trooper tokens that are 2/2s. And if you are in villainy, you'll be making battle droid tokens that are 1/1s. So I would imagine the villainy tokens are probably a little easier to produce since they're lower impact, but coordinate looks like it might be heroism focused. So maybe if you are a Palpatine enjoyer, you're going to be able to sacrifice your battle droids for cards and damage and use effects like exploit, which is the new keyword here that you'll see at the bottom, to sacrifice those droids to give you discounts and trigger other effects for your villainy cards. So a little bit of a different style, as is perfectly in flavor. The droids are meant to be completely expendable fodder that the powerful villainy characters are only using to further their own ambitions. And the clones are more meant to actually come together as a unit and be a real part of your board and help you win. So I really like that sort of design. That sparks joy for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, I love the mechanic. Like we've seen this in a lot of other card games, right? That kind of sacrificing something And I've always loved that kind of mechanic, but also the way they fit it into like the flavor too of these droids just being totally like disposable, just like yeah, you just create masses of them. I think we even saw that in the movies and stuff, right? Like you just there's these giant armies of these, but they get plinked off pretty easy, right? So yeah, like the flavor fits so well, and as a card game mechanic, I'm really excited for this one. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I want a tribute to battle droids to summon my crate dragon. Please, designers, give me away.
Yes. But this is the first time we're seeing tokens as well, like these token mechanics, which we've seen in a lot of other card games before, right? Things summoning or creating 1/1s or 2/2s or whatever they're gonna create. Like Magic has like a million different types of tokens that
Mm-hmm.
you can create, you know. Hearthstone kind of has that. We've seen it in other games, but this is the first time now in set 3 that we're getting it for Star Wars. So yay, tokens!
Yeah, and it's interesting though too because I feel more like token upgrades are a bit higher on complexity than token units. So it's sort of, I guess, surprising that they went in the opposite order when making these sets, but like I think they did a great job with the first ones, and I'm sure that these will be really cool to play with and add a lot to the game.
Yeah, yeah. I also they might not be allowed in like the competitive stuff, but I want to make like custom art stuff for tokens and have like a custom art set, you know, because I would want some like dragon themed ones.
Hmm.
I can have a dragon battle droid. That's fine. That'll exist.
Hey, do what you want. And speaking of not allowed in competitive too, some of these Twilight of the Republic cards are already running around. So with the Gen Con promos that you could have scored if you happen to be in Indiana this weekend, you can actually get some of these cards and have some really, really fancy, pretty looking foils that won't be legal until November. But if you want to show them off, or the people at your store are cool and want to let you play with them, you might have the opportunity to try out these mechanics a bit earlier. So
Yeah.
really, really neat. And well, go ahead, Don. Sorry.
No, you're good. I am curious. I would be really curious to know how many people are getting those specifically as collector's items and they will not like open them or take any of the cards like out of plastic or anything versus how many are going to buy them to like use them and show them off like that. But I don't know. I'd be curious to see how many people. It's something we'll never know, but I
Yeah.
would like to know. Because I feel like for me, I wouldn't want to play with them unless they were like triple sleeved or something, you know, like I'd put them in like two opposite sides like of penny sleeves and then put that into like a thicker case and then put that, you know, like they'd be they'd be sleeved
I would
out.
run him into the ground. I'm that kind of person.
Oh, well, all right. You know, podcasts need to be more well-rounded, so I'm glad that we have the differing opinions there.
Yeah.
I'd frame them and be like, this is how you can look at them. You can look at them in this frame. That's it.
Yeah.
Like they won't touch a table.
I mean, I have my nice brick for the more expensive collectibles that I have, but I don't know. I mean, they're still rolling out to the game because I've got that one there, and then I have my showcase Leia bricked up. But
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah.
will certainly be playing some games with it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is totally random and like not necessarily off topic, but like the way you said that, and bricked up, reminded me of when I was growing up. Right, my parents had a magic shop and all that. They have tons and tons of magic cards, and they created this. They had a big box and was a gold draft. So it was like no commons or
Mm.
no commons and rares. I can't remember which, but it was like all
Well,
just higher rarity cards.
right, because the rares have the gold symbols, like rares and mythics, or they wouldn't have had mythics then, right? Because this was
Yeah,
in the 2000s.
yeah,
Because myth,
yeah. Age me again. This is great.
well, it's
Yes.
mythics are still like somewhat new because they're
Yeah, they are
2010 or
new.
11. Anyone
Yeah,
in chat or viewing, correct me in the comments, something like that. So all the rares were the golds, so golds only for that. That's cool.
yeah. And so we did gold drafting, and I don't know. I keep thinking. First of all, my birthday is in November, so I'm like, the sets come out in November. That's so exciting. And then so like last year for my birthday, I wanted to do a draft, but this was before Star Wars came out. So we just bought some magic packs, and it was only four of us. You know, we did a four-person pod, but it's fine. It was myself, my husband, my mom, and his dad. But that's what we did for my birthday. And this year I'm like, oh, maybe we can do a Star Wars draft or create some sort of like drafting box or something. It would be super fun. Um, I don't know what made me think of that. Like you said, brick, and obviously it was a box and not a brick, but I don't know, maybe the weight.
I mean, I always brick in my drafts, so you know.
Oh no. No, don't. You can't
just,
do it.
just kidding. I never brick.
I was
No.
gonna say, haven't you told me that you've like taken first place multiple times in a row?
Yeah, draft is my favorite format for card games. I'm always down. Any game, anytime. I am a big draft fan.
I love it. We'll have to figure out a way to do drafting online. I
Yeah,
don't know if there's anything for Star Wars yet.
I don't know about Star Wars, but one of my locals made a really cool tabletop simulator mod for drafting universes that is pretty epic and pretty close to feature complete. So if you like universes or like drafting games and want to see kind of what could be, would highly recommend giving that mod a shot. I'll get a Steam Workshop link to Dawn after this so you can see it, but it's really amazing, and I could not have hoped for as good a drafting experience online.
That's awesome. Yeah, I enjoy drafting as well. I'm just kind of waiting for some drafting that's maybe a little bit closer to me for Star Wars. We don't have to go as far. Uh But okay. Anyway, sorry for that little tangent. Do you want to start talking about some of these new cards now for Twilight of the Republic?
Yeah, so I've really only cursorily seen these once before, but they are pretty neat. We got one of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars, Captain Rex, showing off here. And, you know, with him, you see this basic but very powerful effect. When played, create 2 clone trooper tokens. So Rex is a 4/4, comes in with 2/2/2s, and boom, you're coordinated instantly. So I'm not sure if this card is going to be a constructed staple, but if you are building a draft deck that has heroism in it, you're going to be pulled toward cards like this a lot, and you're going to see Rex quite a bit at your table. Just seems like a very good way to get coordinate going and empower the effects that reward wide boards.
Yeah.
And on the and on the flip side, right next to Rex on the left, we have the Imperial version of this, the villainy, the General's Guardian. So when this unit is attacked, create a battle droid token. So that's like kind of interesting design. You get this 4/4 that's sort of below the curve on stats, but will just churn out 1/1s if you try to remove it by combat. So once again, seems very much like a limited focus card, but one that you will see a lot of in that format.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you would almost want to think that with all of these like tokens coming into play that maybe there's going to be the like smaller things on the other side that your opponent will be having to attack into this and you're going to get value. But also like you said, it maybe slightly understated. It's just kind of the straight like 4 for a 4/4. It's like, if this has to be attacked, I would want it to have maybe slightly higher health or something, just to kind of get a little bit more value. But that's also kind of greedy. So
Yeah, but like there are like little synergies. So like we saw General Grievous earlier. You can give a droid Sentinel, and this is a good one to give Sentinel because it is either going to eat up a removal spell, which no, they're not spells, actions. Excuse my language on the podcast, but this will take up a removal action, which is going to trade favorably in Star Wars since most removal tends to be 4 or 5 resources, so it's not the worst exchange. And if your opponent's forced to attack into it with all of their small units, like Don was saying, then suddenly you've got a couple battle droids for your troubles, and you might be able to exploit them or use them in some way. So, kind of does a good job of representing what the archetype for command and villainy is about.
yeah. How about Coruscant Guard? This is a command unit. It's 2 resources, 3 attack, 2 health. It's a Republic clone and trooper, and has that new coordinate. It also has ambush, so that's pretty interesting. But if you have 3 units, you get the ambush. So
Yeah.
with all the tokens, like you were saying, that could be really easy to set off and give this ambush. It's not a
Definitely.
flashy unit, but I think especially like you were saying in like draft, this could be potentially really good.
Absolutely. And coordinate and ambush aren't 2 keywords that really play all that well together. Just because ambush goes up in value when you don't have a board and you need to get that damage out of hand. But if you're coordinating, you already have at least 2 other units on the board, so you could, in theory, attack with them instead of playing this card. But this card is a 3/2 for 2, which is pretty premium stat for an effect. You're not locked into heroism like with Battlefield Marine. And Coruscant Guard is going to be just great on its own without even considering the effect. And when you can do it, which you should be able to in this set's limited format, especially, it's going to pop off. So, very, very good comment.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was stated earlier. I'm going to restate it if it was already. The 3 units can be a mix of ground and air units as well. So it doesn't have to just be in the same like space. You can have, one or the other combination of to make your 3 units, which is pretty sweet as well. So yeah, I think this is a great card, especially like I said in draft. I went almost like full ambush, like as much as I could in the pre-release that I went to for the last set. And the only time that I lost was when I ran into somebody else who also had a ton of ambush in my last round. So, yeah.
Yeah, that keyword's pretty strong in set 1.
Yeah.
Right. So what else we got? Looks like Mr. Anakin Skywalker, the man himself, the Twilight of the Republic in essence. Big stats. 5 resources for 6/6 is absolutely premium. Force is a really good keyword, especially on aggression. And it has coordinate on attack, draw a card. Cool. We'll see a lot of Anakin, period. That's just a great, great card. No caveats there.
Yeah. Draw is good. Also, when you can set it off in control when you get that effect, very good.
Yes.
We like those effects. All right. How about for villainy and cunning, the Separatist Commando? This is a 2 resource, 2 attack, 3 health, Separatist Droid Trooper. While you control another Separatist unit, this unit gains Raid 2, so it'll get +2/+0 while attacking.
Honestly, this seems like kind of busted as an aggressive unit. It's 2/3 is pretty premium as a stat line, and making it attack for 4 when all you have to do is have another separatist is not a tall order. Like this will be, of course, phenomenal in draft, but actually looks constructed relevant more so than any of these other cards so far.
Yep, completely agree. I mean, I'd pay 2 for a 4/3. That seems good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you do have the requirement of 1 other separatist, but that's like you said, that's not a tall order. Like just having 1 other separatist, okay, that's fine. We've already seen a few, so yeah, I like it.
And in a constructed deck, that's no problem at all. That's essentially just raid 2. So yeah, great card.
All right.
Yeah. It's the Battle Droid Escort, 3 resources and villainy for a 1/1 Separatist Droid Trooper, and when played, when defeated, create a Battle Droid token. So this is the weirdest 3/3 for 3 that you're probably going to see at this point in this game, and I don't know how to feel about this one. I think it gives you 2 1/1s right up front, and then it gives you another one later. And I think unless you're sort of all in on the exploit mechanic, I don't think this card is very good just at face value. You need synergy to make it go.
Yeah. I think if it were like 2 cost, it would be great, right? Like you'd be like, yeah, okay, I could do that. But for 3, you're like, I don't know. You really need to have the reasons to be playing it.
Definitely. And like I think at 2, like you would just it still wouldn't be great for constructed unless you once again were really all in on the synergy, but it's there on stats. It's just that in a game like this one where offense is like the 1/1s can't chump block. They're going to trade unfavorably often. It's not even like Hearthstone where you just have your own turn. When your opponent has opportunities, they're going to be able to trade into those 1/1s favorably. And getting your battle droid token, and just for confirmation, these tokens come in exhausted, correct, when they're created?
I don't know.
So we'll have to see then. So my assumption would be that they do, just because that tends to be the default state for things in Star Wars Unlimited. But keep an eye on that. But even still, you attack with your 1/1. If you want to get that other token, you need to lose it. It just does not do a whole lot for you up front. So be careful with this card, but if you do get all those synergies going and you do have exploit and ways to take advantage of the tokens, it definitely can be a good value pick.
Yeah. I was trying to look and see if the article here says it, but I don't think I see anything specifically about that.
Yeah, I think we'll probably need to wait for the updated rules reference, but
yeah,
we'll have our question answered. And what is this? That's an 8 up there in the top left. That's a big number.
Yes, it is. This is Hailfire Tank. It's 8 resources. Oh, sorry, it's a villainy card. 8 resources, ground unit, 7 attack, 6 health, separatist, droid, vehicle, and tank. Ooh, it's a lot of keywords there. A lot of types.
They couldn't even spare droid for Grievous, but the Hailfire Tank, it does it all.
Yeah, and then it has exploit 2. So while playing this card, defeat up to 2 units you control. This card costs 2 less for each unit defeated this way. Okay.
Yeah, it's a card. I I am curious about this one too, just because a 6 resource 7/6 is not all that special. A 4 resource one can be pretty good though. So you're going to need lots of token generators. Yeah, like even more redundancy than that 3 resource card we just saw. You're going to need lots and lots of them to play this on 4 and make it good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I feel like this would be better in constructed or actually in like sealed or draft, but
I think I'd say
would
draft.
really depend. Probably.
I think it's like a high synergy option in draft that you can pick up late because no one's going to be contesting you on Hailfire Tank. If you pick
Yeah.
all the good enablers, this is a card that should be around for you in the back 4 or 5 of the pack.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Well, and even in sealed too, it's a pretty big bomb, right? Like people aren't often going to have stuff that's going to be able to easily trade into this or remove it. So it seems like it would be pretty good there if you can actually have the units to exploit. The cool thing about the way that I think exploit is going to work in Star Wars Unlimited though is bless you, is that like you said, it's not like Hearthstone where like you have all your actions at the same time. So you can actually be able to potentially like attack, into your opponent's base with a unit or 2 units and then exploit them and just remove them off the board like after you've attacked. So it's like you still get their value and it's so great. Like it's just I don't know how many might depend on what kind of format you're doing if you're working with other sets and stuff like with these the vehicle and tank especially. Like obviously we've already seen some separatist stuff and droid stuff for the set, but there's gonna have to be some more like vehicle synergy as a type.
Definitely.
I think for that.
Yeah, and maybe along those lines it could get a little better, but like you said, sometimes keyword big is going to win you the game. So, yeah. But so far, lots and lots of synergy and villainy, a little less straightforward than the just, good stats for the cost that we know and love in heroism. So we'll have to see if there's some other stuff going on here in these reveals that might give us an inkling of what else villainy has going on. Well, we don't get it's a heroism card. And a very simple one. 332nd Stalwart, 1 resource for heroism, a Republic clone trooper, and it's a 1/2 with coordinate, gets 1/1. So if you can have 3 units, it's a 2/3 for 1, which is pretty solid. Appears unremarkable, but doesn't have to be fancy to be good. And depending on how fast the coordinate deck is in limited, this might see some play there, but we'll know for sure once we see the whole set. This looks like it can be a constructed card. Like it's 1, 2, 3 for 1 is certainly a better start than most decks have now.
Yeah. Yep. I don't have anything else to add for that one. It's not flashy, but it's fine.
Yeah, card good.
And then these are just the arts. Oh, what did the website do? Error. Okay. Well, I guess I can't pull them up, but then it just shows the 2 arts for the battle droid and the clone trooper. So they're both 0 cost tokens, and as Dankest said earlier, the battle droids are 1/1 and the clone troopers are 2/2s.
Worth pointing out though that they do have their keywords. So we see that there is a sort of separatist matters archetype here, and the battle droid has separatist as well as droid and trooper, and the clone trooper is Republic clone and trooper, and trooper is a supported archetype for heroism in set 1. So might be that these have more relevance for type synergies than just their token synergies that seem sort of more obvious with the set design and articles we've seen. So really, really cool and really, really deep for just some token units. I'm looking forward to building with them.
Yeah. I am very excited as well. And now that we have now that we have clone troopers though as an actual token unit, how many jokes do you think people are gonna make about the the shooting and the attacking?
Oh, there's gonna be lots. The droid attacks. No, it missed. Sorry, you missed my base. Unfortunate. Try again. Roger, Roger.
Uh,
I
so
love the
good.
droids.
Yeah. I am I'm excited for this set. I mean, so far the stuff we see seems pretty neat. I like both of the keywords. I mean, I am much more of like an aggro style player, so creating a bunch of like lots of smaller things is right up my alley anyways, and it does feel like coordinate and exploit both kind of want to do that in a way. So for me, I'm like, yes. That sounds great. Let's do it. I like sacrificing stuff too, so exploit. Here we go.
Yeah, it's like I like that it feels like we're going to see these keywords a lot. I think that that's the part that is interesting because it's the worst when you see a new set for a card game. It's got a cool keyword, and then you just realize, oh, I am never going to see this in a serious game because, man, like they missed the mark or didn't do enough things to make this like a big part of the game. And I don't feel that way at all about these. I'm pretty confident that we're going to see a lot of coordinate and exploit, and the designs are cool as game pieces. They're cool from a flavor perspective. It really does feel like those characters in Star Wars, and yeah, I'm thrilled about this set. Twilight of the Republic can't come fast enough. So
I know, which is November, and you know what? November cannot come fast enough. November is going to be an awesome month. As I said, it's my birthday, but also it's essentially AFG's birthday because that's when I created it. So this year is Amber Flight Gaming's 5-year anniversary in November. I like the colder weather. That's when that stuff hits. I love Thanksgiving, and that's in November. Like, yeah, November card games. I don't know. Did they say a specific release date? Do you know, or do we just know November?
I believe it's just November at this point. But if I had to hazard a guess, because everyone knows I'm always like a week off when I hazard a guess, so it's either the week before or after. I would guess November 8th seems like a good idea to target for pre-release.
For
So 15th
pre-release?
or 15th or
Yeah.
1st is when pre-release is going to be if I think it's the 8th, right? That's how that works.
Yeah, probably. Uh, you know what? I hope that it comes out on the 8th. So the pre-release would be the first weekend because my birthday is the 12th. So the set
Nice.
would actually officially be out for my birthday, like or before, So I could get cards to play. That would be good. So that's my wish. I don't know when it's actually coming out. So I guess we'll stay tuned for that, but I'm sure probably around that time cuz isn't that also kind of when these last sets came out too?
Yeah, like
The pre-releases were pretty early.
it's been the first full week of the month for pre-release. So that's where my educated guess is coming from. But
Gotcha.
they don't have an official date on it. But if it matches the previous two sets, November 8th would be the cadence. So we will see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I am excited. I don't know much about the lore and kind of other stories for those other sets that they talked about, but I feel like I'm going to know quite a few of the references or characters for Twilight of the Republic, so I'm excited for that one, very much so. And
Yeah.
everything looks good so far for it. So
Yeah, like I said, I'm hoping this is our best chance for them to sneak in a pod racer before 2026. So I'm fingers crossed.
it is, yes. Even like they could just do one card, right? It doesn't have to be like the whole like theme of the set. It just like one card. Just give us one card, and then maybe you could do a little bit more in like the next one. But give us one, at least one pod racing card.
Come on. Make Sebulba a leader. Make his action actually let me cheat in the game. Come on.
That would be so good. Fantastic. Okay, I have one more question for you. Is this the set that there is a Jar Jar Binks leader?
I feel like his role at this point is too minor, but Legends of the Force and Secrets of Power are right there. So maybe Darth Jar Jar Binks will be gracing our decks in late 2025. I think that will be my prediction. That they're going to put a Jar Jar Binks card innocuously in one of those, and they're going to get everybody going crazy about it.
Wait, you don't think it's going to be a leader? You just think it'll be a card?
I mean, and yeah, everyone will be like, why is Jar Jar Binks a card in the set about Sith Lords? What's going on here? Why would they do this to us again? That's what I think, but who knows?
Oh.
If they do give him a leader, though, I really hope that, you know, they lean in pretty hard on the flavor and, you know, actually make you speak in Gungan to do the action. But
oh my gosh,
one can only dream.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've had tons of opportunities to already incorporate things like that into the game, but they haven't yet.
No, they've done it. I Am Your Father is a card. Everyone loves it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That card's awesome. And they would do it again. I believe in them.
Fair. All right. Well, unless there's anything else, I think that's going to bring us to our wrap up for this week. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Stellar show.
Thanks for chatting about Star Wars with me. That was exciting. Figured this was a good time with the announcement stuff, and since you know it's you and I, and we're kind of the big Star Wars players, and I think Ron's a Star Wars fan, but hasn't gotten into the card game yet. So we'll get him at some point.
Yeah, maybe someday he'll be streaming Carabast for 25 hours a week. You never know.
Yeah. Well, with that, if you or anyone that you know would want to join us on the show, talk about these different card games, then please get a hold of us. Email us at tccgroundtable@protonmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at TCCG Roundtable. And while you're on Twitter, you can also check out our top pinned tweet to find a link to our Discord, or find that in the show notes or YouTube description. And while you're checking out the YouTube version for that Discord link, you might as well go ahead and watch the show and watch the video version. Days like today, we had the screen showing the cards and the things that we were talking about while we were talking about it. So there are sometimes things that happen in those video versions, and you can always see our facial expressions to things, which is pretty fantastic sometimes. But, you know, that's okay. If you don't want to listen or watch on YouTube, you can listen to the episodes anywhere that you can check out audio podcasting. And, you know, if you're going to be playing some of these physical games, check out Inked Gaming. That is an affiliate of ours where you can help direct us supportly. Look, it's the end of the week. Oh my gosh. Support us directly. How about that? Woo! Yeah, that'll work.
First try.
Got him. Just seeing if y'all are paying attention still. Yep. create the bloopers at the end of the show to see who sticks around. That's what it is. Yeah. But yes, Inked Gaming, you can get all sorts of play mats, dice, card sleeves, all sorts of stuff like that, even custom ones. So using our link helps support us directly. And you can also check out more about Amberflight Gaming and check out our new merch. We have merch now over at exclaim.gg/store/AFG. And that's the same company that we get our official jerseys for the team through. They are really good stuff. So hopefully you check that out. And you can find us individually. I'm going to plug Ron's stuff formally. He's not here, but you can find Ron on Twitter at Ron_HS and streaming Monday through Friday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's right. 7 p.m. Eastern on RonMexico HS on Twitch. Dankest, where can people find you?
So you can find me on Twitch and YouTube as DankestDad CCG. YouTube will be coming soon, TM, with the next video, and the stream will be returning this weekend with some Pokemon games and/or Poke Rogue. Be playing that some more, so excited about that. And you can, of course, find my articles on Amberflight Gaming's own website, and you can find me on x.com, formerly known as Twitter, as @DadDankest. So yeah.
Saying formerly known as Twitter makes it sound way cooler than it is.
Yeah.
Just saying. As for me, you can find me on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. You can find me on Twitter. I'm old. I'm not changing the name. Twitter.com/DawnieDK, DAWNIEDK. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube, dragonrider TCCG, and talking all things standard Hearthstone over on the Dr. 3HS podcast. But thank you all so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you at the roundtable.